Intelligence creates blind spots that make smart people more vulnerable to manipulation because they trust their reasoning abilities too much and fail to recognize when their cognitive abilities are weaponized against them. So, if you consider yourself smart, you are about to discover why that makes you the perfect target for manipulation. So, in this video, you will know what is the intelligence trap, and also the 3 manipulation techniques that target intelligence, and finally, how to protect your intelligence from being weaponized against you. So let's dive in. The intelligence trap, the overconfidence paradox. Have you ever ignored a gut feeling just because you knew that you are smart and you can figure it out later? I did. The people most likely to fall for manipulation are often the ones who feel that they are too smart to be manipulated. So you meet someone new, they are sharp, and they match your intelligence. So you think, finally, someone on my level. And when they say something slightly off, you don't label it as a red flag. You analyze it. You give them the benefit of the doubt. After all, you are not naive. You're perceptive, you know psychology. This is the overconfidence paradox. Smart, self-aware people trust their judgment, and usually they should. But this confidence creates a hidden vulnerability. When you think, I would never be fooled, you stop checking whether you are. And manipulators don't see intelligent people as a risk. They see them as a prize to win, a puzzle to solve, and manipulating someone who is smart actually feeds their ego. So they mirror your intelligence, they flatter your insight, they make you feel like an equal partner until your guard quietly drops. So you dismiss early discomfort as overthinking. You reframe early warning signs as complexity because you trust your ability to figure it out later. Because you're not stupid, you're smart. But the time you notice that something big is wrong, you'll be already emotionally invested. So true emotional intelligence is not just about trusting your judgment, but also staying humble to question it sometimes. Because the real danger is not about being unaware, it's being so confident in your awareness that you stop looking. Number 2, pattern recognition gone wrong. Your brain is a meaning making machine, and manipulators know exactly how to use that against you. They tell you just enough, a vague story, a half truth, a mysterious hint about their past, so you don't get the full picture. But your mind doesn't like gaps, so it fills them for you. And you think they act distant because they are not ready yet. They cancel plans maybe because they are overwhelmed or hurt. They are inconsistent because they are scared of connection because of what happened to them in the past. They never said these things. You did. And now you are attached to a story you wrote yourself. Because psychologically, your brain is wired for pattern recognition. It looks for meaning, it connects the dots, and it builds narratives. So this is usually a strength that helps you understand people quickly. Manipulators exploit that by giving you incomplete information that fit a pattern that you want to believe it to be true. So they drop hints, they stay ambiguous, and they let you do the emotional labor of interpretation. And once you convince yourself of a story, you defend it, even when their behavior contradicts it. So the manipulation here is not what they said, is what they made you say to yourself and believe. When you stop filling in the blanks for people, you finally start to see them for who they are, not as a story of them you created in your own mind. Number 3, the rationalization machine. Intelligence doesn't just help you to see clearly, it also gives you the power to explain away things that you don't want to see. Something feels off. They crossed a line. They ghosted you for weeks. But instead of going away, your mind goes to work. Maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe they had an emergency. Maybe they just need time before opening up. Within minutes, you have built a whole argument defending them, better than they can ever defend themselves. The uncomfortable truth is that intelligent minds are very good at rationalization. So when a manipulator plants a small seed, a doubt, a guilt trip, a subtle excuse, Your brain constructs an entire logical frame around it. So you gather evidence, you add context, you make their behavior make sense. Notice what happened? They didn't even need to convince you because you have already convinced yourself. Especially if your identity is tied to being reasonable, understanding, and emotionally intelligent. You will try to give them excuses and understand their behavior even at your own expense. That is why manipulators love intelligent people because they don't have to control you. They just have to give you a direction and your mind will do the rest. So always remember this. True wisdom is not about the ability to justify everything. It is the courage to say, this doesn't feel right, and that's enough. So let's discuss the three techniques that manipulators use against intelligent people. Number one, complexity as camouflage. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling impressed but confused? So you ask a simple question and then they give a long answer. Details, backstories, timelines, names, context on top of context. And you think, wow, they are being transparent. So you listen closely, you analyze, you try to understand every layer. And you miss the one thing that matters. The answer actually never addressed your question. So here's what happens. Manipulators usually bury deception inside complexity. So they mix the truth with exaggeration, facts with emotional stories, real details with subtle distortions. And smart people are especially the ones vulnerable to this because smart people love complexity. It feels stimulating, it feels deep, it feels like you are solving something meaningful. But while you are decoding the intricate details, the simple lie at the corner goes unnoticed. So always remember this. Clarity is simple, and honesty doesn't require a maze. And when you learn to notice unnecessary complexity, you stop mistaking complexity for depth. Number two, the intellectual flattery loop. Have you ever trusted someone faster just because they made you feel exceptional? Some people don't manipulate you by breaking you down. They manipulate you by building you up. They lean in and say, most people wouldn't understand this, but you do. They praise your insight, your emotional intelligence, your depth. And so you feel seen, you feel different, you feel special. And without noticing, your guard goes down. Manipulators can easily identify what you are proud of. Your intelligence, your resilience, your depth, your ability to understand things that others don't. So they attach themselves to that identity and they make you feel like the smartest person in the room. So now you associate that feeling with them. So your brain quietly links feeling smart to being with this person. And that is their strategy because once your ego is engaged, your skepticism lowers. So you stop questioning their behavior because you don't want to question the version of you they validated. Always remember this. Real connection never requires flattery to hook you. And intelligence doesn't need an audience. And the moment you stop needing someone to affirm your brilliance, it is the moment that manipulation loses its grip. Number three, the false dilemma dressed as logic. Have you ever agreed to something just because the alternative felt much worse? Sometimes manipulation doesn't lie in the choices you make, but in the choices you were given. So they say, how do you want us to do it? My way, or we don't do it at all. Your mind switches on, you analyze, you weigh the pros and the cons, you pick the option that seems more reasonable, and you feel smart for choosing wisely, but you never pause to ask, who decided that there were only two options? So this is called the false dilemma, a classical manipulation framed as logic. They present you with two paths, both lead to their desired outcome. And because intelligent people love decision making, they debate, they calculate, they optimize. So they are trying to analyze which option is better, not paying attention to the fact that there was a third option missing, which is your option. So you didn't lose when you made the decision. You lost when they presented you with those decisions. Always remember this. Real choices give room for your own voice, not pre-packaged options. So here's how you can protect your intelligence from being weaponized against you. Number one, install the pause control. Before you commit to any decision that feels urgent or exciting, force a 24 hours pause. Manipulators rely on momentum. They want you to decide fast so you don't see the manipulation. And smart people can outthink manipulation, but only when they slow down. Number two, seek disconfirming evidence. Your brain wants to be right, so train it to look for evidence that you are wrong. And ask, what would need to be true for this to be a terrible idea? And maybe if you cannot find flaws, maybe you're not looking hard enough. Number three, the dumb question rule. If something feels so complex to be explained simply, it's either genius or garbage. So first the person to explain this thing to you as if you are a 10 years old. Manipulators hide in complexity because clarity kills deception. Your intelligence is your greatest asset, but also your most exploitable weakness. So, the smartest thing to do is to assume that you are not above manipulation. Because the real danger is not being unaware, but being sure that you're aware. And that is where manipulation slips in. So, let me know in the comments below which of the manipulation tactics hit you the hardest. Is it complexity, flattery, or false choice? Let's see which one gets the most votes. See you in the next video.